This is Enos Sport, bringing you the heat and that far. We keeping the foot on the whoop the necks. We keeping the foot on the whoop the necks, and like the Tibetan Mastiff that I am, I'm applying unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? It bursts its pipes. Let's talk about it, man. See, Enos Sport felt the need to have to break this shit down because a lot of people are what we call Rudy Poo and Plum Plum brains, right? They are what we call classic Dolce Troglodytes, right? They are what we call ultra fanboys with the ultra fanboy rhetoric. The reason why Enos Sport feels the need to have to tell these motherfuckers this shit is because a lot of motherfuckers, they don't know boxing, dog. They don't know two flying fucks about boxing. They give you the similitude that as if they knew boxing, but they lack the fullness thereof. And let me explain why. Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, the way that you fight these guys, it's really fucking simple. You fight both of these motherfuckers the same way, dog. All you gotta do is change up some of the variations, some velocities, and some facets on the shit. But really, both of these motherfuckers, you just need to fight both of these motherfuckers the same fucking way. Because they both have the same fucking flaw and the same issue. You wanna know what the same issue these motherfuckers got? Canelo Alvarez, he fights in fucking flashes. Errol the True Spence, all he gotta do is fight in between those flashes. What do I mean when I say he fighting fucking flashes? When we look at Cinnamon Alvarez, right, or Cinnamon Dust, Canelo Alvarez fights basically to look good. When you fight Canelo Alvarez, you gotta make life uncomfortable for him. Terence Crawford fights the same way. The difference and the fundamental difference between the two is Canelo Alvarez does it from more of a power standpoint, and when he fights in flashes, he do throw body shots, so it gives a similitude as if he's so fucking skillful, but he's really smoking fucking mirrors. Terence Crawford does the same bullshit and fuck shit, but Terence Crawford does it in a hit me, I'ma hit you back. Hit me, I'ma hit you back. Hit me, I'ma hit you back. He does it in a flawed DNA fighter style. The reason why Terence Crawford is easier than Canelo is because Terence Crawford got no fucking chin. And Terence Crawford is not built too big, too durable, and too forward tough. Canelo's built big, durable, and forward fucking tough. So you're not going to just knock out Canelo Alvarez. This is where the change in the velocity and the separation has to be. Because with Errol the True Spence, what he got to do with Canelo is he got to invest in the body way fucking more. And he got to do this shit earlier in the fucking fight. With Canelo, you just got to be careful when you're coming in. You just got to make sure you don't touch anything heavy. Because Canelo gets off in the first 7 rounds. See, if you look at Floyd Mayweather and you look at Errol Spence, the reason why those two motherfuckers were successful against Canelo is because they fought in between Canelo's flashes, dog. Canelo is a flashy, smoky, and mirror type of boxer. You guys ever play basketball? And you guys ever wonder why flashy motherfuckers, right, that come in, they want to give you the flashy ass crossover, they want to be flashy as fuck. They always get runned off the fucking court by the ones that are fundamentally and technically sound. You want to know why? This is how me and Richie Rich used to run motherfuckers off the court. They like, oh, here we go. He trying to do the Allen Iverson, dog. Motherfucker trying to do the AI. Motherfucker trying to cross over. Oh, we're going to run this motherfucker off 7-0. Because we followed the Michael Jordan and the Kobe Bryant principle of being fundamental and technical. Because if you play the game simple and you play it at its simplest form, you can run motherfuckers off the court. So it'll be 7-0 shutout. While you practicing your crossover, we putting the ball in the fucking hoop. Well, Errol the True Spence is Mr. Tactical Aggression, Mr. Technical Puncher Placement, and Mr. Body Snatching Work, the Levy and Onslaught, the punishment style. Errol the True Spence is the most technical and fundamental boxer since Floyd fucking Mayweather. He's so fundamentally and technically sound, it's not even fucking funny. There's 3 airfield fighters in boxing. Floyd Mayweather is one of them. Andre Ward is another. And Errol the True Spence is another. These are 3 airfield fighters. You want to know why they're airfield fighters? Because the 3 of them have mastered something that makes them an airfield fighter. They've mastered inches and they've mastered distances. Let me say it again. They've mastered inches and they've mastered distances. Floyd masters it from the back foot, dog. Floyd is a boxing savant. So Floyd is gonna beat your ass off of skills. If Floyd don't beat you off of anything else, he gonna beat your ass off of skills. He's gonna collect the fucking data, and then he gonna whoop your fucking rabbit ass off of skills. Andre Ward does this through a variance of front foot and back foot. And the reason why I say this is because Andre Ward likes to do a lot of different techniques and different things to throw you off kilter. This is how Andre Ward wears your fucking ass out. Case in reference, Saki Obika fight is exact point of what I'm talking about. Because Saki Obika was awkward as fuck. He was coming in with all kinds of bullshit and fuck shit. And Andre Ward had to switch up so much velocities, variations, and aspects to fundamentally break his rabbit ass down. And that's exactly what the fuck he did. Errol the True Spence does the same thing that Andre Ward does, but he does it from more of just a simple way. There ain't nothing about Errol where Errol gonna be sitting there and just go in there and just flash on your ass. Earl's all about getting the job done. Plus, what makes Errol an airfield fighter, he's a coach's dream. He listens to the game plan and he listens to the blueprint through and through, dog. You guys have to understand, when you're dealing with Canelo Alvarez, you just gotta wear Canelo Alvarez's ass out for the first 7 fucking rounds. Jamal Charlo, there's a reason why Canelo don't want to fight Jamal. It's because Jamal is such a lateral expert. I'm giving you the game plan on how you beat these motherfuckers up. Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, they don't like lateral movement. They are straight fighters. When you fight like this against Canelo and Terence Crawford, you throw them off kilter, man. By the time it takes them to figure that shit out, you already so ahead. That's why Canelo Alvarez is ducking Jamal Charlo. Because in Jamal Charlo's lateral ability, which he is so gifted at, this is where he finds his uppercuts. This is where he throws shots that your rabbit ass can't fucking see. And Canelo knows this. And that's why Canelo don't want to fight him, because Canelo knows that if Jamal starts going into those lateral stances and the lateral movements, that shit gonna throw Canelo off for a whirlwind. Well, guess what? Errol the True Spence is a lateral savant too, man. He fights so laterally beautifully. Ride a little bit on this one, because I gotta teach you motherfuckers some shit. Errol the True Spence will use so much lateral movement on Canelo Alvarez, he'll fuck his ass up. But you know why? Because Canelo Alvarez is limited to his Mexican physiology. He's limited to his Mexican DNA. When you look at a lot of Mexican fighters, what do you see that's prevalent with them? A lot of them are just up and down fighters. They lack lateral ability. Errol the True Spence just needs to make sure that when he's fighting Canelo, he's disciplined as fuck. When he comes in there, he's careful. He's not touching anything powerful. And then he fights in between Canelo Alvarez's flashes. Case in point, case in reference, Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo Alvarez. Notice every time Canelo took a breather, because Canelo takes a lot of fucking breathers in between rounds, Floyd was dishing shots. When Canelo threw a counter, Floyd would double counter on his ass. Everything was set up through the fucking jab. Erislandy Lara did the same shit. Erislandy Lara just wasn't as gifted as Floyd. So he got touched up a little bit, but he got touched up not to the point to where it damaged him. You see what I'm saying? Because he still was a highly skilled fucking boxer due to his Cuban background and Cuban amateur pedigree. A lot of these Cuban fighters, they just have a lot of boxing pedigree. Errol the True Spence got a lot of boxing pedigree through Derrick James. And Derrick James will make sure that Errol the True Spence boxes his life off in that fucking fight against Canelo Alvarez. Because with Canelo, you just got to be disciplined, man. You got to stick to your principles, and you got to make sure that you don't do nothing reckless. Because this is where Canelo gets the advantage over fighters. When they get reckless and they do something they're not supposed to do, and then through those flashes, Canelo will pounce on your ass. Even Canelo's body work is flashes, man. Spence, all he does is body fucking work. This is how I know when Spence take Canelo to deep waters, he'll drain his fucking ass. So it's the same game plan that he's using with Canelo that he will use with Terence Crawford. The difference is Canelo Alvarez, you just got to be careful when you're coming in, because Canelo got power. And you got to be careful that you don't let Canelo land anything meaningful. Whereas with Terence Crawford, Earl could take risks all fucking day. Because Terence Crawford's power ain't too much of shit. He ain't going to drop Errol the True Spence. And he's not going to give Errol the True Spence no precarious situation where Errol the True Spence is going to be like, just like he will with Canelo Alvarez. You see the difference? That's the little difference in the variation and the separation that you do against both of these motherfuckers. But if you fight them both laterally, and you fight them basically fighting in between their flashes when they're taking rounds off, you can beat the shit out of them. Because one thing that's prevalent and one thing that's true with Canelo and Terence Crawford is they both are smoke and fucking mirrors. See, Terence Crawford, if I was his trainer, I would have a fucking paddle. You know, like in a fraternity, you know what I'm saying? They would have those paddles where they'll beat the shit out of a motherfucker when they get out of line. With Terence Crawford, every time Terence Crawford come in, like, I'll hit him on purpose, right? I'll take the paddle and slap him across the chin with the shit, right? On purpose so that he can do the hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. Every time he try to do the hit me, I'm gonna hit you back, you know what I'll do to his rabbit ass? I'll turn around and I'll fucking hit him on the fucking chin as hard as fuck. And I don't care if I break his fucking chin. Because the message I would send to him is, look, you ain't got a chin worth shit. Motherfuckers want you to do the hit me, I'm gonna hit you back, so that you can start being undisciplined. Because Terence Crawford can box. The problem with him is he's undisciplined when motherfuckers hit him. He thinks that he has to retaliate. Well, when you do that, that makes you angry. And last time I checked, when a person is angry and emotional, they're not in their wits. They don't have their wits about them. They're not governing themselves the way that they should. Terence Crawford could have the hit me, I'ma hit you back, but he can employ that bitch on the back foot. That way he's luring the person to come in so that he can attack them at will. But every time, go look at every fucking fight with Terence Crawford. Go look at every time he got in trouble. Every time this motherfucker went on the front foot, Gamboa fight, Mean Machine fight, Jose Benavidez, the one-legged gimp variation fight, Julius Ndongo, where he hit this motherfucker with 3 body shots. Every time Terence Crawford got touched the fuck up, is because he did the hit me, I'ma hit you back. He got on the fucking front foot, and you know what happens when he does that shit? He leaves his chin open. That's why Errol the True Spence said, you too light on your ass, I will straight up stop you. It's because Errol the True Spence knows a fundamental truth. All he gotta do is hit Terence Crawford on the fucking button, and he will drop his rabbit ass. That's the only difference and the only delineation, the only distinction, the only gulf between a Canelo and a Bud. Same rules apply. You fight them motherfuckers laterally. You punch in between their flashes. But with Canelo, you just got to be careful. Don't let him hit you with no body shots, because that shit will fucking hurt. Don't let him hit you with anything meaningful. Whereas with Terence Crawford, you could just take the risk with him. That's the separation. Other than that, same rules fucking apply. And Errol the True Spence is so gifted, he can employ those same strategies, but in different velocities, different variations, and different aspects to beat these motherfuckers up. But the rules are what they are. And anyone using the true boxing eye test, all of the totality, the full weight, the gravity of what I just said that was so deep and fucking profound, they would get it. The real G's out here in these boxing streets, the super real G's out here in these boxing streets, and the ultimate real G's out here in these boxing streets, they got the deep coded message behind what He Knows the Sport said. But if you're a Rudy pulling a plum brain, a classic Doden and a troglodyte, an ultra fanboy with the ultra fanboy rhetoric, you're not gonna get this fucking message. I told you guys, I can break this shit down with the best of them. The reason why I don't do all this boxing terminology shit, boring as fuck.
Go ahead.
We're dealing with simplistic individuals. Most people are simple as fuck. So you gotta tell them this shit in a simple way. Plus you want to throw some wit, banter, and comedy to this shit so that they can get it. That's why when motherfuckers listen to me, they get boxing from me, because I teach motherfuckers this shit in a way that everybody can get it. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you parrying punches and all this other bullshit and breaks any shit down XL. I'm not gonna do all that. That's boring as fuck. That's for motherfuckers like me that's a purist that don't mind listening to that shit. But everybody ain't that. Most motherfuckers are casuals. So they want to hear some shit in a way that they can understand. And what is understood don't need to be explained. But in this instance, it needed to be explained, because a lot of people don't get it. Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford use the same game plan on their rabbit ass. You just change up the velocity on one is powerful and the other one's not. And one got a fucking chin and the one don't. That's all you changing up. But if you punch in between these motherfuckers' flashes and you fight their ass laterally, you will wear their fucking rabbit asses out. Because the one thing that both of these motherfuckers like to do is they like to be comfortable. Why do you think Terence Crawford, the chihuahua barking behind that damn fist, doesn't want to fight Sean Porter? It's because he knows Sean Porter will make his ass uncomfortable. See, this is what it boils down to, man. I'm giving you this shit. 2 plus 2 is adding up to 4. The way that I'm explaining this shit. A lot of motherfuckers on YouTube, they give you 2 plus 2 and this shit add up to 3. That's why he don't want to fight fucking Sean Porter, because Sean Porter will make life uncomfortable for his ass. And Errol the True Spence will do the same thing, but from a tactical standpoint. Notice it's tactical aggression. That means he's fighting you aggressively, but tactfully. It's technical punching placement, meaning Errol the True Spence don't waste no fucking punches. He damn sure ain't gonna waste no punch on Canelo Alvarez. But Terence Crawford, he can waste some fucking punches, because Terence Crawford ain't throwing the shit that Canelo throwing. And body snatching work. Errol the True Spence worked the body all fucking day. And what did I tell you, motherfuckers? On with the body, on with the body, on with the body, and then off with the fucking head. Let me say it again. On with the body, on with the body, on with the body, and then off with the fucking head. This is how you beat up Canelo Alvarez, and this is how you beat up Terence Crawford. Floyd understood this, and that's why Floyd washed, double washed, and triple washed Canelo Alvarez. And fucking Errol Lara understood this shit. And that's why Errol Lara embarrassed the shit out of Canelo Alvarez. He had a Pernell Whitaker to Julio Cesar Chavez performance on his rabbit ass. His cinnamon dust horchata Canelo Alvarez ass. And then Kell Brook. You want to see? I'm using references here, though. Kell Brook boxed the shit out of Canelo Alvarez for 3 or 4 fucking rounds. You want to know why he was able to do that shit? Because Kell Brook was fighting Terence Crawford laterally. He understood that Terence Crawford don't like lateral movement, and he has enough boxing IQ to get that. And Errol the True Spence is on a higher plane than Kell Brook from a boxing standpoint. This is what I'm trying to tell you, motherfuckers, dog. This is how you beat these smoking mirror fighters. Whether if it's a cinnamon dust horchata or a chihuahua barking behind a damn fence. This sport broke this shit down like nobody's fucking business. This is the game plan you employ. You do this shit, you beat the shit out of these motherfuckers. And Errol the True Spence is not only gifted enough, he's not only smart enough, and he's not only tactical enough, he's so wherewithal-y, he's so knowledge-filledy, and he's so ability that he'll beat the shit out of these motherfuckers with the same game plan, just changing up the velocity, changing up the variation, and changing up the cue on the bitch just a little bit. That's the cold-hearted, that's the unadulterated, and that's the cutthroat truth-teller fashion. I keeps the foot on the whoop on the next. I keeps the foot on the whoop on the next. When it's all said and done, get the notepads out and get to the fucking scribbling. This is He Knows the Sport. Checking out.